Good afternoon. We'll take a slightly different tack from that last keynote that we've just heard, and we'll sort of look at what's been going on in South Australia recently in the exploration sector, and then we'll move on to some plans that we have in the survey and within the broader department for what we're going to be doing with gold in South Australia moving forwards. So first, taking a look at exploration in South Australia. As we all know, we've come out of a fairly significant downturn over the past 5 years, but we're starting to see some measurable signs of an upturn in the industry at long last. So our best leading measure of exploration activity in South Australia is the number of exploration approvals that are being, or the number of approvals that are being given out, and as well as the number of drill meters that are approved. For both of these, we're seeing over the past year, we've seen a year-on-year increase of over 30% for both of these. So there's real signs that we are seeing an increased level of activity. So that's quite encouraging. In terms of where this activity is being directed, over half of this is being directed towards copper. But also, what's encouraging is that it's not just about IOCG exploration. We've also got a number of explorers looking for magmatic or intrusion-hosted copper-nickel, sedimentary-hosted copper, lode copper, and various copper-cobalt systems as well. About a quarter of the approvals have been directed towards iron ore and gold exploration. And of course, there's a range of other commodities that people are actively pursuing as well. So, looking at copper. So the state's potential for IOCG mineralisation is certainly well recognised and has attracted the majority of the interest. Now, whilst the announcement from BHP last week at Oak Dam West certainly made the broader world and market take notice of what's going on in the eastern Gold-A, this momentum has been steadily building over the past couple of years. So we've seen BHP reinvigorate their exploration program over their tenure on the Stuart Shelf. We've also seen Oz Minerals have had ongoing drilling campaigns at Carrapateena and Cams and Fremantle Doctor and their deposits in that area, but also looking more regionally through their joint venture with Red Metals, and they're starting to drill those targets now, and we're seeing some early encouragement come out of that work. FMG have built up a sizable land position, and they've been progressively generating exploration targets over the past couple of years to the point where they've now commenced drill testing as well. Aeris and Argonaut, they're at the advanced stage of planning and preparations for drill testing a range of targets on the Lake Torrens project, which is highly anticipated, and this will be the first drilling this project seen since WMC in the early 1980s. And CIMIC as well, so whilst the bulk of their work is about iron ore, they've also been looking and pursuing exploration on IOCG targets on their tenements in the northwest of this domain as well. So in terms of some significant results from this work this year, obviously it's hard to go past the Oak Dam West announcement from last week. I guess the significant takeaway from this one is it really confirms the potential for the eastern Gold to host high-grade IOCG systems. You know, these are world-class numbers by anyone's measure. Oz Minerals have posted the maiden resource estimate at Fremantle Doctor, where it contained 800,000 tonnes of copper and 2 million ounces of gold. So it's another great development as well. So in terms of, I guess, the Geological Survey's work in this space, we've already seen several presentations over the course of today that talk about this, but to briefly recap, some of the active programs include the ongoing high-logger scanning of drill core from Olympic Dam, which we'll learn so much more about this deposit from that program. The ongoing work that the survey has looking at the application of the magnetotelluric technique and the learnings that are coming out of that program. As new data comes to hand, we're certainly looking at the geophysical characteristics of the different IOCG systems and documenting these and making those available as well. And lastly, of course, the GCAS program, which is providing a new high quality data set that will contribute to the ongoing exploration in this space as well. So getting back to the copper exploration, a range of explorers looking for magmatic copper nickel. Predominantly, or the most advanced of these is western areas, looking over in the Fowler domain in the western Gold-A. They've undertaken several drilling programs this year, and we're seeing early encouragement come from those programs as well. Several companies are looking at their exploration ground in both the Musgraves and obviously down in Kumpana, but I guess most of those programs are still at fairly early stages. There's several companies looking for sediment-hosted copper and or cobalt systems, both in the outcropping parts of the Adelaide Rift Complex, but also up on the edge of the Stuart Shelf. So we've got Jindalby actively progressing feasibility studies at the NG14 and Windabout deposits, and also looking to expand their exploration around the Emily Bluff area as well. And then lastly, a number of explorers looking for more lode-style copper and or cobalt. I guess out in the Curnamona district around Mutooroo, Havilah are very actively pursuing some early stage or expanding their exploration footprint around Mutooroo and coming up with some great results as well. So changing tack now and looking at gold exploration in the state. So most of the effort for this year has focused in the Gold-A. And looking up in the Christie domain, we've seen Moda undertake several drilling programs in the Aurora Tank project, with a lot of this focused on the Goshawk prospect. We're seeing multiple high-grade gold intersections come out of this one, and we expect to see a maiden resource estimate for this prospect in the not too distant future. Turana did some work early this year around Jumbuck and increased the resource inventory there by over 30%, so we've got just under 300,000 ounces contained gold from that camp as well. Down in the central Gold-A area, now whilst it's a little disappointing that Perseverance has gone on to care and maintenance for the time being, the good work that's been done by WPG and in conjunction with the survey that we saw earlier today has outlined a number of exploration targets that someone will pursue hopefully in the not too distant future. Down at Barnes and Aggie Green, the joint venture partners there have been reviewing the geological setting of those deposits, and we're looking forward to renewed exploration down there in the coming year as well. And down the southern end in the Cleve domain, it's hard to go past the good work that Alliance have been doing there, so multiple drill programs, and they've outlined the maiden resource estimate there of over 180,000 tonnes at a very respectable 5.1 grams. So more work to come on that one in the new year as well. The third part of this talk is about a program we're embarking on to help improve the state's position with respect to gold resources. The program is called Discover Gold, and it's structured around the three broad themes of geoscience, investment attraction, and stakeholder engagement. So the bulk of this program is focused first and foremost around improving the exploration and discovery performance in the state and the geoscience that will underpin this. We also recognise that the majority of the gold-focused exploration has been undertaken by the junior sector, and there is a role for the state to play in promoting this potential and supporting investment attraction. Stakeholder engagement is equally important to the exploration cause and will be part of the overall program as well. So why consider gold? Well, the state has a resource inventory in excess of 100 million ounces of gold, but when we drill down into this, the vast majority of this is tied up in copper-gold systems, as shown by all the projects there with the red highlight around them. In particular, Olympic Dam accounts for a fair chunk of the gold inventory. We have the demonstrated potential to host million-ounce plus systems such as Challenger, but there's certainly a role for the survey to make a significant contribution to assist in improving the discovery record. So this program will be delivered through the existing DEM platforms of SARIG and the Minerals website, but it will differ in that it will essentially be a commodity-focused, one-stop shop that is specific to gold in this case and continuously updated as new material becomes available. So the sort of things that we'll include here are I guess here we've got a newsfeed section, so any new relevant information that pertains to the gold sector, we'll be keeping a constant news flow of that information there. Looking at what's going on in the industry, so links to current survey and DEM activities, links to the active gold explorers in South Australia, any other upcoming activities as well. But we'll also we're planning on hosting a number of regular workshops in the coming year and bringing in guest presenters to talk on different aspects. So for the gold explorers in the audience, keep a watch on this space for the opportunities that come up in 2019. But what I'd like to focus on in this last part of the talk is what we're doing in terms of helping the exploration side of things. So we saw Rowan present earlier this morning on this knowledge cube concept, and really what it is, it's the concept of becoming a geological one-stop shop for providing data and information and products that relate to, in this case, gold. So the sort of things that we'll be having is we'll make sure we define the different gold domains in the state. Now, we haven't really looked at this for a number of years. So we'll be making sure we've got some good clarity around that. So how do we define the gold domains? In some cases, how do we characterise the regolith within these domains? Because it's such an important part of the gold exploration process. Understanding which search spaces people are exploring in. How do we characterise these or define these, and how mature are these? Generating domain-specific data sets and products. And making these available for download through the existing systems, but as part of this also undertaking a gap analysis. There's a lot of data that's locked away in various reports, and it's not readily downloadable. I guess another consideration here is that the survey certainly has and others have a huge back catalogue of a lot of relevant and pertinent products and data, and part of this whole exercise is making this far more readily accessible and relevant, and providing that context for exploration. Any specific research and any other survey initiatives that apply to each of these domains. Generating or producing an exploration toolkit. So if you want to come and look for gold in South Australia, here's a toolkit you can go to and shows you all the different tools and techniques that people are using. So case studies such as how high-log has been used, so making those all readily available. What else have we got? So this one, the case for discovery. So this is where we'll look at the mineral inventory for the state, and also using this as the basis for undertaking some predictive analysis and perhaps understanding what the future may hold, or what potential there is for future discoveries. If we come up with new exploration models and concepts, this is where we'd promote these ideas as well. And then lastly, making sure we've got a readily accessible library and catalogue of all the relevant and pertinent reports, research that apply in this space. Readily accessible, downloadable, without having to do searches that return a lot of chaff that doesn't get you to where you want to be. So I guess the takeaway is it's making a lot of this information readily available and applicable to gold exploration, and using this as the basis for us to undertake these gap analyses and work out what more do we need to acquire to make a contribution in this space. So that's just a very brief overview of what we plan to do. I will leave it there. Thank you for your attention.